My garbage person of the week is going to be the incoming head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this guy, E.J. Antoni, who has, you might notice, interesting taste in artwork. That gigantic picture behind him, it turns out, is the World War II battleship, the Bismarck. You might not be familiar with the Bismarck. It was launched by the Nazis in 1939. Adolf Hitler gave a speech at the ceremony, marking it as the pride of the Kriegsmarine. At the time, it was widely considered the most powerful, largest, and fastest ship in the world. It destroyed the British ship Hood, leaving just 3 survivors. Remember, the Hood was fighting on our side of that war. I'm just reminding you because Antoni might not know that, or might not agree on which side he was on. It was sunk in 1941, the Bismarck, by the British before the US had entered the war. And some people like ships, some people like trains. It's a notable one. But can we put that picture back up? That is a massive commitment to how much you love the flagship of the Nazi Marine Force.
Insane.
That is a 5-part massive wall-sized image of the terror of the British Navy. And that is a strange thing, but it gets worse because that image was from him appearing on some Bitcoin podcast, which is its own issue and garbage. He said, he was asked about the ship and he said, yeah, the Bismarck, yep, in all his glory. It's at the bottom of the sea along with the Hood that it sank just days before. So he's referring to it as a his. Generally, people refer to ships as she. I don't know why, but that's what they do. Evidently, though, one other person who did consider the Bismarck male was Ernst Lindemann, the sole commander of the battleship. So evidently, he sees the Bismarck the same way the Nazi in command of it did. And it's not just big, it cost at least $250 to put that Nazi ship behind him. But don't worry, the White House says it's not strange that he wants Nazi war machines behind him. He's just a history buff, as many Americans are. His office is full of a variety of artifacts and artwork. He also has some US battleships. I mean, it's not the thing he wants behind him at all times on his Zoom calls like the Nazi one, but this is just the Daily Beast, which is a joke. They're just reaching low, no matter how low they have to reach to fabricate a false narrative. So pointing out that he has a Nazi ship behind him is not a false narrative. You are confirming he has a Nazi ship behind him. I don't know what the false narrative is supposed to be. But also, Brett, before you comment, you should know this guy evidently was also in the crowd on January 6th. He was not charged with any crimes other than, I guess, the trespassing or whatever. And the White House put out a statement saying he was just a bystander. He was in town for meetings. So he just happened to be in the massive crowd trying to overturn the results of the election.
This is,
what do you think?
So 1984, they fired someone for telling the truth and replaced them with a guy who's set. His Nazi memorabilia is not in a chest in a hole in the ground. It is behind him on the news. What are we doing? What are we doing? And you can say, people who are like, oh, he's just a history buff. Do you know anyone with Nazi memorabilia? Have they left all dogs alive that they've met? They kill dogs, those people. That is in line with who's gonna turn into a serial killer. Having a lot of Nazi memorabilia is terrifying, dude. That's not normal behavior. He also has bad taste because it's a crappy, a corporate housing background art. And he was at J6. Stop it. I hate being told that I'm overreacting, but honestly, I don't think a lot of people are saying that anymore. It used to be stop calling Trump a fascist all the time. Now it's true. He's not releasing the Epstein files and he's putting Nazi lovers on the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he didn't like the actual labor numbers.
Yeah.
And he's invading cities with the National Guard, with the Customs and Border Protection. That's a problem. I don't think people are saying we're overreacting anymore.
That's a good point. There was an attempt during the election, as we were warning about that. Some people were saying that a little bit, and maybe you still get like a response to a tweet or something. But like, yeah, no, I think most people understand that that was an accurate read of what this movement actually is. And this guy appears to be a part of it. And by the way, look, if he ends up putting out fake numbers, don't get too mad at him. He'll just be following orders. Anyway, those are our garbage people. Many of you voted for the community garbage person of the week. 74,000 of you, in fact. 4% voted for J.K. Rowling for wanting to boycott a store that had trans workers. 7% for Republicans for pretending they're scared to work in DC. 10% for the White House for Trumpifying the Smithsonian, but it's not even close. 79% goes to Donald Trump for sending the National Guard to DC. Man, you guys are really into that. Evidently, you're different than the wider YouTube audience, which is not really watching those videos. But anyway, I'm glad everybody that votes is very worried about this. Anyway, now let's turn to our hero of the week. 43,000 of you voted. 8% going to John Oliver for mocking Temu Superman, aka Dean Cain. I like that. 23% for Bernie Sanders for pushing for new progressives to run for president. 26% to Ro Khanna for saying he'll bring Epstein victims to testify. But your winner, 44%. Journalists for covering the atrocities in Gaza as best they can, considering that like official media isn't allowed in there, and multiple were murdered by the IDF just in the past week. So many have been, hundreds have been intentionally targeted and murdered since the beginning of this conflict.